name is Alex. My wife, Sarah, and I live in a cozy suburban house. Our daughter, Emma, who is 6 years old, used to share a room with us. But one fateful night, our lives took an unexpected turn. It all began when Emma started having trouble sleeping in her own room. She would come into our bedroom night after night, terrified by something lurking under her bed. Sarah and I did our best to reassure her that there were no monsters hiding there, but her fears persisted. One evening, Emma burst into our room, her eyes wide with fear, and said, "Mom, Dad, there's something under my bed." She clutched her stuffed bunny tightly in her trembling hands. Sarah and I exchanged a concerned glance, but we knew we had to investigate. Reluctantly, I got out of bed and followed Emma back to her room, with Sarah close behind. Emma pointed to the space under her bed and begged us not to leave her alone. I knelt down and peered under the bed, shining a flashlight into the darkness. There was nothing there but a jumble of toys and stuffed animals. "See, Emma, there's nothing here," I said, trying to calm her nerves. That night, we let Emma sleep in our bed, hoping it would ease her fears. The next morning, she seemed better and even drew a picture of the supposed monster she thought she had seen under her bed. It was a strange, shadowy figure with glowing eyes and long, gnarled fingers. I tried to dismiss it as a product of her imagination, but something about the drawing sent a shiver down my spine. As the days went by, Emma's nighttime visits to our room continued, each time with the same plea that there was a monster under her bed. We tried everything, from rearranging her room to adding a nightlight, but nothing seemed to help. Sarah and I were growing increasingly concerned. Then, one night, as Sarah and I were drifting off to sleep, we heard Emma's terrified screams coming from her room. We rushed to her side to find her sitting up in bed, tears streaming down her face. She pointed to her feet, and there, we saw deep bruises as if something had grabbed her. Panic surged through me as I examined the marks, but we couldn't explain how they had appeared. Emma claimed it was the monster under her bed that had grabbed her. We knew we had to take action. I cleaned up the scratches on the floor and examined the underside of her bed closely, but it was empty. We took Emma to the doctor, thinking there might be a medical explanation, but the bruises left the physician baffled. As the days turned into weeks, we grappled with the unimaginable. Could there really be a monster under Emma's bed? Or was there something else at play? Despite our doubts, Emma never wavered in her belief that the monster was real and responsible for her injuries. In a desperate bid to protect Emma, we moved her into the spare bedroom and transformed it into her new room. Miraculously, her nighttime visits to our room ceased, but the mystery of the bruises on her feet and the eerie drawing she had created continued to haunt us. Sarah and I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this than met the eye. We were determined to uncover the truth behind the strange events that had invaded our lives and threatened our daughter's sense of safety. Children perceive the world in their own unique way. Psychics often claim that childhood is a time when young minds possess an open perception of the world, allowing them to see things, premonitions and glimpses of the other world that adults are oblivious to. In our small town, there lived a special little girl named Lily. She possessed a gift that set her apart from the other children. She had the ability to capture the world around her in her drawings. Lily's childhood drawings were a source of fascination and joy for me, Gladys, her mother. I would often spend hours flipping through the pages of Lily's sketchbook, marveling at the vivid scenes and colorful characters my daughter had created. The drawings were a reflection of Lily's innocent perspective on life, filled with the charm and whimsy that only a child's imagination could conjure. But one fateful day, everything changed. I, as I always did, decided to peruse Lily's latest creations. However, this time, the drawings were far from innocent. They were chilling and unsettling. At the center of Lily's sketchbook was an eerie depiction of her auntie, whom we fondly called Aunt Sally. In the drawing, Aunt Sally appeared to be engulfed in flames. her face contorted in agony, and her body writhing in pain. The horrifying image sent shivers down my spine, and my heart raced with fear. I couldn't shake the haunting image from my mind. It was as though Lily had glimpsed into a realm of darkness and despair, and had painted Aunt Sally's tragic fate before it had even occurred. My anxiety grew when, the very next day, the phone rang, bearing news that would forever change our lives. Aunt Sally had passed away. The details of Aunt Sally's death were as disturbing as Lily's drawing had foretold. It was a tragic short circuit that had ignited the chain of events. Aunt Sally had fallen asleep with an electrical device left unattended, and the resulting short circuit had turned her room into an inferno. The fire had taken her life, leaving behind only charred remnants of what was once a vibrant soul. I was left in shock and disbelief. I couldn't comprehend how Lily, an innocent child, had managed to capture the impending tragedy in her drawings. It was as though my young daughter possessed a connection to the unseen forces of the universe, a gift that both fascinated and terrified me. As the years went by, Lily's drawings continued to be a source of wonder and trepidation for me. They offered glimpses into a world that transcended the ordinary, a world where childhood innocence could intersect with the eerie and inexplicable. The memory of Aunt Sally's fiery demise haunted me, a constant reminder that some mysteries lay beyond the realm of understanding, hidden in the minds of gifted children who saw the world in their own peculiar way. The chilling events that unfolded in the following days still haunt my thoughts. It all began on a cool, rainy fall morning, a day that seemed like any other. My daughter, Lily, was just 7 years old at the time, and I was the single mother struggling to balance work and parenthood. I had made toast for Lily, my little sunshine, and was bustling around the kitchen, trying to get her ready for school. The relentless rain outside only added to our morning woes. We were running late due to the sluggish traffic that seemed determined to test our patience. Sitting in the car, I glanced at Lily through the rearview mirror as we idled in the traffic jam. To my bewilderment, I saw her small hand waving cheerily to the driver of a pickup truck that was parallel to us. Panic welled up inside me, and I blurted out, "What are you doing? Do you know this man?" Lily's silence sent shivers down my spine, and I couldn't shake off the unease that gripped me. I had always been cautious about her safety, but this incident left me feeling vulnerable, as if a sinister presence had invaded our lives. After finally dropping Lily off at school, I made my way to work as a cashier at a local supermarket. The next few days passed with an eerie sense of normalcy, but something about Lily's behavior gnawed at me. My sweet, artistic daughter had suddenly become aggressive and withdrawn. One evening, as I was tidying up her room, I stumbled upon a drawing she had been working on. My heart plummeted as I examined it closely. There, in the sketch, was the image of a strange man. His eyes were dark and piercing, and in the background, a menacing pickup truck loomed. It was uncanny how much the drawing resembled that ominous encounter in the traffic jam. Initially, I tried to dismiss it as a mere coincidence, but my unease refused to subside. The man in her drawing bore a disconcerting resemblance to the stranger who had waved at her. My thoughts spiraled into a nightmarish realm of paranoia. I couldn't help but entertain the creeping suspicion that this mysterious man had not been a random encounter. I began to fear that he was watching my daughter, lurking in the shadows and infiltrating our lives. Each passing day, my fear deepened, and I became increasingly vigilant. I questioned Lily relentlessly, but she remained tight-lipped about the incident, leaving me in a perpetual state of dread. There were no ghosts, no supernatural forces at play, just the haunting feeling that someone was watching us, waiting for a chance to strike. The ordinary world we had once known had transformed into a place of shadows and uncertainty, and I was determined to protect my daughter from this looming threat, even if it meant delving into the depths of this unsettling mystery.